This is Core Conversations with Natalie Baggio.
Welcome to Core Conversations. I'm Natalie Baggio, and today Dr. Rob Nolan is joining me, our Chief Medical Officer and Chief Quality Officer at Corewell Health Lakeland Hospitals. Welcome, Rob.
Hey, Natalie. It's great to chat with you.
I'm really excited for you to be here today. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your role? I know you wear many hats, and you're like the real-life Dr. Robbie from the pit. So you do a lot of exciting things, and I'm excited for everyone to hear about.
Yeah, thanks, Natalie. It's great to be here. Yeah, I've got several roles. One, I'm still a practicing ER physician. Absolutely love that. So I work the nights, the weekends, and everything else, taking care of the community. My other jobs as Chief Medical Officer is working with all of our fabulous physicians within Corewell Health South and across all of Corewell to help get the best quality care that we can to really reduce those barriers that we can and improve access for our communities, not only here, but across the whole footprint of Corewell. The other job that I have that I spend a lot of time in is as Chief Quality Officer. And as a Chief Quality Officer, I work with our fabulous nurses, I work with all of our other teams, I work with our physicians to try to make sure that every single time we have patient contact, we're giving the best quality, the best experience possible. And as you can imagine, there's all sorts of different facets to bring that to light. But that's really what kind of keeps me up and going every single day.
Yeah, well, you do a lot for us and for our community, and really greatly appreciate your leadership. So I'm excited for you to share with us, like, what defines excellence in patient care?
That's a great question. And I think when we look at patient care, it really comes at two or three different angles. One is, what are really the goals that the patient or the patient's family have for their care? So you could have a disease process, and what their goals might be very different. You know, we have some early on in life, we have growth and development of kids through pediatrics. We have folks as they get older, they're trying to get and enjoy their lives, and there's different things that they want to do. As they get older and we all kind of reach the end of our lives, people have goals in terms of what does that look like as we kind of finish up our time here. And each one of those touch points, we have to match what the patient's family want and what they kind of consider value. The flip side of that is, as a healthcare system, what are those things that we're providing and offering that we can do consistently, time in and time out, where we reduce any sort of unnecessary harm to the patient, damage that could potentially be done, inefficiencies, and marry those two together. So there's always two sides of this. It's what is the patient, what are their goals, what are they trying to achieve when they come in and interact with our healthcare system? And then we as a healthcare system, how can we consistently give outstanding care, outstanding experience, and we can do it time in and time out in a consistent sort of way.
I love that. It's the balance between the patient's expectations, but also how do we benchmark in the national perspective, and those two things together really lead to that clinical excellence.
Precisely.
But as we meet challenges in healthcare, we know clinical transformation is inevitable. And I spoke about that in one of my earlier conversations on that's what really excites me about envisioning where we're going and then helping lead that change. Where do you see like the first step or the greatest opportunities in clinical transformation in the near future?
That's a fabulous question. And it is one of the most exciting areas that we have going into healthcare. Our society is changing just in unbelievably rapid moments. Everyone recognizes AI as a huge portion of what we're doing. What I think is really exciting, there's a couple things that I think is really exciting. We always have to tie our mission, vision, values. Where are we keeping that patient at the center? What are those things that we're doing? But then how are we leveraging new technologies? How are we leveraging new abilities to reach out to patients, to get the care to the right patient at the right place at the right time? So one of the things that I think is absolutely fabulous that we're doing is we're really growing a lot of the televisits and the virtual visits that we're having. You know, gone are the days where 30 years ago, everyone said, well, you have to come to a brick and mortar hospital to get your care. We're now saying, well, why don't we go out to your house? Why don't we find ways of doing this? Why don't we reduce transportation time? Why don't we increase access by giving availability to care for the patient when they need it at the location that's most convenient for them. We've really begun to leverage a lot of just fabulous specialties across all of Corewell Health and be able to bring it locally. Some of that is by virtual medicine. Some of that is by having providers transport themselves down to some of these areas. So that's a huge, huge area that we're going into. The other one, when we go back to kind of some of the areas that you're talking about within quality, that's really big is how do we use AI to help leverage and find some of these things that we can improve quality even sooner. And we do that with reducing fall risks and using technology to reduce fall risk, or finding ways of reducing chances of people getting infections within the hospital. And that's all implementing new technologies, whether it's in our electronic health record, whether it's using some of the AI technologies, whether it's leveraging things across all of the United States and best practices and applying them here so that we can make sure that we're standardizing the best care possible.
Yeah, I really love your vision and thinking about how technology will leverage keeping patients safer in the hospital is really exciting. But also, how do we get care closer to patients in their home and increasing that efficiency and access to care? I think there's a lot of great things on the near horizon that I'm really excited for our community to be able to have and experience. A lot of people ask us what it's like to be a leader in healthcare, and you're a physician and a leader, and you lead multiple different aspects. How would you describe your philosophy of leadership?
I learned I kind of grew up in the military system, and one of the things that I learned there is never ask your people to do something that you're not willing to do yourself.
And that's why you were working on Christmas?
Yes, exactly. So I think it's really important to be a present leader. And probably the most powerful thing, and one of the things I'm most proud of our leadership team in general, is kind of leading by example. And you need to be the type of leader that people say, those are the personas and the personalities and the qualities that I want to have in my group, that I want to have and demonstrate to patients, that I want to demonstrate to everyone else around there. So I think number one is you have to be present, you have to be with your people. And then number two is you have to be open to listening, because there's no way that any one of us are going to have all the answers given the complexity of healthcare and everything else going on. We have an unbelievably talented pool of people that are working at Corewell, from the new nurses that we're bringing in through the pipeline programs that you started up, to new docs that are coming in from different areas. We have to be willing to keep an open mind and open ears and say, we don't have all the answers. And as we're going through transformation of healthcare and as we're doing increasing access and everything else, we need to be able to say, we want to hear all of these ideas and work together and say, how can we make it better? Every day we should wake up and say, today is going to be a better day than yesterday. And if we can just march down that path every single day, we're going to make healthcare better for everyone in our community.
You just described servant leadership. And that is truly, I know, at the core of who you are and at the core of our leadership team, because it does take an entire team to make a difference. So I really greatly appreciate working with you, and thank you for everything that you're doing to contribute to our teams and our patients and our community.
Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate the chance to chat with you on this
I have
one.
a couple more questions for you, though. What is something you're most proud of in your work?
100% it's our teams. I love nothing more, whether it's through graduate medical education or seeing our new nurses start or seeing our new techs start, watching them grow, evolve, and become the type of people that we want. We have had, most of my experience through the last 15 years at Corewell has been in the emergency department. I can't tell you how many of our young techs go on and take advantage of some of our nursing education programs and become nurses, and now are charge nurses or have moved up into administrative positions. When I watch that evolution of docs, physicians, techs, and them realizing their life dreams as they're helping people in our community, that's what warms my heart, and that's what keeps me going every day.
Thank you for joining me today and sharing with everyone the work that you do and the huge impact that you make on everyone's life.
It's been an honor and a pleasure to chat with you, and I really look forward to everything that we have coming for us in the future.
Thank you for joining us today on Core Conversations, and look forward to joining us at our next episode to hear more from our leadership team on how they make an impact every day in our patients' lives, our team's lives, and our community.